What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Halo Infinite. So we have a former 343 employee, okay, who took to I think it was a video, and then the video was then translated. So maybe it was on YouTube, but this was posted over on Reset Era, and they break down basically what this guy said. Now you could say, well, Alex, well, number one, I personally don't like Reset Era, so you could say, well, Alex, just because it's posted on Reset Era does not mean it's true. That's very, very true. But somebody basically tried to confirm with Jason Schreier about this, and Jason Schreier had, kind of agreed with it, or at least he said he's working on a story about a lot of troubles that have happened within Halo Infinite. Now, again, you could believe Jason Schreier, you cannot. We've talked about my opinion. I really don't like the guy in terms of him as a person, in terms of him as a journalist. I think he breaks some pretty good stories. I think he's a pretty accurate most of the time. Okay, don't like him as a person, but I think he's pretty accurate as a journalist. So we're going to go over what was said, and then we'll add the Jason Schreier part to the end. So basically, he said his overall feeling on Halo Infinite. In fact, I think the finished product will still be great. The story is a big improvement, and the gameplay is much richer, though the development cycle is too long. Don't expect it to be some kind of next-level masterpiece. The company executives were overly ambitious. They wanted to make Halo Infinite a semi-open world game, so the engine needed to be changed significantly. They had to make the game and develop the engine at the same time. Due to engine defects, many workflows were not ideal, though they are now much more improved than before. Last year's disastrous demo was because many engine features were not fully implemented at that time. For a variety of reasons, the game content compared to the original idea has been cut. Same for multiplayer. This has led to some things I've made over the years that no one will probably ever see. The team at 343, especially the low-level employees, works very hard, and many of them have experienced working overtime until the early hours of the morning in the past few years, Crunch confirmed. Now he works at Certain Affinity, still doing some Halo Infinite outsourcing work, and he feels good to be out of 343's baggage. And then you have this Twitter user, the Undead Jester, who said, I would call BS on citing a message board post as a source, but I'm assuming Schreier was already working on a 343 story that we will get later, and this post aligns with what he's hearing. That being said, I can't see Microsoft letting Halo Infinite fail. And then Jason Schreier says, you assume correctly. So there's that extra thing where it's like, it doesn't have to be true, but Jason may be working on something himself and about similar things, basically. And he says, yeah, that's what's happening. So I'm actually surprised he didn't get butthurt that the fact that this was kind of already leaked before him, because he likes to be the first one. But that's an aside. Look, a couple of things to make a note of, right, is this is serious. It seems like the game is still going to be pretty darn good. It's just not going to be some sort of next level thing. I think that's probably the biggest thing. That's why, I was thinking of the title of this video. I was thinking about how I wanted to address this, and I didn't want to say, the game is like a massive disaster. Now, the way Jason Schreier puts out his article could very well make it sound like the game is a disaster, but the way this guy, one person's, opinion, makes it sound like, the game's going to be good, the game is going to improve in a lot of different ways, but if you're expecting like this, again, this absolute masterpiece, you've never seen it before, it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? So, and that's just his opinion. It could be very different when the game comes out. At the same time, it could be worse. You know what I mean? So, maybe people that want to defend Halo Infinite would say, well, it could actually be better than that. And then people who want to go after it could say, well, it's going to be worse. Some of these things I think are kind of common. The crunch thing, I think, is a thing that happens literally everywhere. I know a lot of people make a big deal out of it. I have conflicting thoughts about crunch and different kinds of crunch that we won't go into in this video. The idea that there were a lot of ideas and they had to kind of be cut for time, that's not uncommon either. That happens pretty much for every game. There's loads of ideas at the beginning, loads of things they want to do, and they don't end up happening. I guess the biggest things, again, is the fact that it may not be the biggest masterpiece you've ever seen, and also the fact that the demo was because a lot of things weren't implemented yet. When he talks about Halo Infinite, a semi-open world game. Now, I don't exactly know what that means or if that'll ever even happen, but remember, we have heard in the past that Halo Infinite is supposed to be kind of a hub for Halo for like years, for like more than half a decade, where there'll kind of be just continuous content and things flowing through the game. So like anything that happens Halo all goes into Halo Infinite. Do you know what I mean? You could even think about it maybe as kind of mirroring the Xbox ecosystem, where it's like every game is on every Xbox console. It's not just on next gen, stuff like that. So that's what Halo Infinite's supposed to be. There's not going to be another, at least according to rumors, there's not going to be another Halo game for like 7, 8, 9 years. Okay, so very, very long time. Everything that'll come out Halo-wise will all be attached to Halo Infinite. So they're trying to make this game again like a set, like I guess just a thing that everything flows through. And when they say semi-open world, I guess that's a little bit different, right? But I don't know, I kind of get the same vibes that maybe is that what he's talking about, or is he literally talking about, I guess the gameplay implications of that? So, look, I just actually made a video of this game on my main channel on Podcast Now this morning. I was thinking about putting this video up over there, and I was like, 2 Halo videos in the same day probably doesn't seem like something I should do. So I wanted to put it on this channel. But you can go watch if you think I'm such a hater or like I despise Xbox, I despise Halo. Go watch that video because I'm very excited for this game. We just talked about it going to E3. So I think it'll be at E3. I think it'll have a big presence there. I do think it'll improve upon what we see. And that's kind of what he makes it sound like. It's like the next time we see this game, it'll definitely be improved. But again, like by the time it comes out, it may not be what people want. I guess like all the way up there. And then you have the idea that the game maybe still doesn't come out this year. There were rumors a couple months ago that they would delay the game again till 2022. Like that Twitter user said, that being said, I can't see Microsoft letting Halo Infinite fail. I mean, yeah, there's at the end of the day, there's not too much you can do though, right? Because eventually you're gonna have to get this game out there, and if it does half of what it's supposed to do or what they want it to do, that's just what it is. I guess you could say that you would want to delay it, but I mean in reality, they've been working on this game basically forever, and yeah, you can say delay, but like if they wanted to do everything they wanted actually in this game, and they wanted to make it this just next experience that you've never, experienced before, what if that takes till 2024? What if that takes till 2023? Is Microsoft willing to let that happen? There is that kind of risk reward, or that that push pull that you have to just decide of when to put this thing out, right? So I obviously the game's not going to be a bomb. The game's going to sell, I would say, really, really well. And yet again, selling is interesting, right? Because it comes out on Game Pass. So how much will how much will people actually buy it? Probably very few. It'll be free for most people with Game Pass. So we'll have to see how it all goes, but definitely not the greatest thing. I guess it's Microsoft's turn to kind of step up, and we hear about some of the troubles that their studios have had. But so not the greatest thing, but also not the worst. Again, even this guy who clearly has some resentment, if this is all true, by the way, if this is even what he said, he clearly, I don't think, liked 343 or liked his time there, and he's happy to be gone from it. But he also, I think, has a lot of respect for Halo Infinite, and he wants the game to be good, and I think he believes that the game will be pretty darn solid. So let me know, guys, in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think that this is, trouble? Do you think that the game is going to come out in an okay state? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. We've been doing so great in terms of your guys' support. I greatly appreciate it. Hit the like button if you guys did like this video. Definitely helps it out, and I'll see you all on tomorrow's video.